The rise in social media, from Instagram to TikTok to Facebook Live and everything else, has really seen a boom in brand ambassadors. And by this we mean car companies have appointed celebrities, influencers, and people of note generally to curate content around their car so it's more organic growth and it goes up to get trillions of followers. Now, what do you guys think about it?
Well, I mean, I would love to have a car on a long-term loan, but well, as is very kindly pointed out many times over the past few days.
Actually, over the past 7 takes, yes, that's how many times we've done this first run.
Just a lot. Well, we've got the next best thing. So coming up, we're going to interview some of these people and find out the extraordinary experiences they've had with the cars that they get to drive, they get to experience, and they can probably share with us the joy behind the wheel.
And actually, what we want to bring you is the nitty-gritty that goes on behind the scenes in what it really means to be a brand ambassador. And we'll see if it's all it's made up to be, or whether it's just a lot of hard work.
Maybe it's really nice.
We've seen interviews, we've seen them appearing on TV, but what is it really like behind the minds of these people when they get in a car that they have on loan and drive it day to day?
Especially when you're 27.
Hey everybody, my name is Bobby Tonelli and you are watching Top Gear Singapore. Now the car I'm driving right now is the 2022 Volkswagen Tiguan R-Line edition. All in white and looks absolutely badass. When they first asked me to be a brand ambassador for Volkswagen, I was excited to take this on because obviously an ambassador is a little different from a salesperson. A salesperson is there strictly to sell cars. What we're here to do is advocate for the brand, their history, what the brand stands for, what the cars stand for, each model in the lineup, and also the lifestyle, how it integrates into your life and how you use it, and relate to people on a very different level with that. And that's been the joy of my experience thus far with Volkswagen. It's been awesome to be an ambassador for them. Being the ambassador, or being one of the ambassadors at least for VW, it's been exciting. And I think what I thought it would be is that and more. And I think the relationships that you build with the marketing team are fantastic. And when you meet other drivers and other fans of VW, that's the fun part for me, because you get to hear their passion for the brand, the cars that they grew up with. It was the Golf GTI or the Passat, or even the Touareg when it first came out. How they integrated into the world of VW. The Bug, for example, the Beetle. I mean, that is the quintessential VW, and those iconic cars, I think, which it drives me as an ambassador to learn more about the brand and try all the different models as much as I can. So what's the toughest thing about being a brand ambassador? I don't think there's anything tough about it, to be honest with you. You get a lot of nice perks. I mean, to drive a car like this is absolutely fantastic, and get to drive it pretty much almost every day, and to show people the interior of it, especially when it's the R-Line edition, and show how versatile it is. I mean, those are the fun parts of it. But I think as an ambassador, I think going back to what I talked about before, is the history of the brand. And I think that's our job, is to know and learn about it. So it's not just driving the car, but it's also being able to discuss the car and to talk about it with car enthusiasts as well. Because ambassadors nowadays, especially with social media, there's this, some people are just thrown into a situation, but they really don't know the product. And I think for us, we need to really know about VW, or at least a good part of it. So when we do talk about it, it comes from the heart and it's not just from a script. I think some of the biggest misconceptions people have is that all we do is get to drive around in nice cars and that's it. But there's a lot more to being a brand ambassador. I think we've talked about it throughout this video. It's really about understanding the brand and the history, and being able to relate to people and talk to people in various different situations, and be able to kind of be that extension of the brand out there. You're sort of like a lot of the ways the face of it to when people see it outside of a dealership. Like when they ask you questions like, what's it like to drive the R-Line? Should I get the R-Line or the Elegance line? Like, what's the differences? Or, should I go for the Tiguan or the Touareg? Or should I go for the Golf GTI? Like, which one would you recommend? So there's a lot of that knowledge that has to come into play. And I think that differentiates just someone that is being put into a car versus someone that's an ambassador, in my personal opinion. My final impressions of the car, and what's my favorite part of the car? You know, it's really the drive. I mean, obviously the looks of the Tiguan for 2022 are more aggressive. It looks a lot more sportier. It's a really good looking SUV. And I think it looks larger than what it is. So people have this preconceived notion that it's a small SUV, but it's actually not. I mean, compared to the Touareg, which is much larger, but you can still, like I can throw my road bike in here. She can come in here, no issues, luggage, all that great stuff. But to me, I think the best part is the drive, honestly. I think the way that it handles the roads here in Singapore, the parking structures, getting around, navigating, and just how easy it is to turn and just maneuver the car. And the powertrain is great as well. I mean, it's not the fastest SUV out there, but for me personally, I'm not looking for a speed demon in an SUV. I'll get a sports car for that. I want an SUV is for more utilitarian things that I do in my life, carrying Praha around, or household items, or luggage, or bikes, or whatever it may be, or golf bags. I want an SUV for that reason, and I think it does that very, very well, better than very well. It's just an absolutely awesome car.